geekversus.com.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Game Chat. I'm your host, Chris, as always joined by my co-host, Sean.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
And John.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Chris,
yeah.
can I just say?
No, you can't.
You look good.
Thank you. It's because I got a haircut.
I'm not going to tell anybody why you look good.
It's because I got a haircut.
You got a haircut?
Yeah, I did. Shows how much you care about my life.
You ever heard... never mind. Zero about your life.
Oh, my God.
I know.
I'm kidding.
It's because you haven't called all week. Everyone else did.
We don't call.
You don't call, you don't write, you don't go on walks.
Nobody calls. What are you talking about? Plus, the week just started.
Even Slade emailed me.
Why?
You'll see.
Slade Oh, my God.
Oh.
Slade, if you're listening, why did you do that?
Oh, man.
He already got a response, too.
So,
Oh, no.
I have a problem.
Okay.
I've tried to watch
Preparation H.
Altered Carbon.
I've been meaning to, but I've not gotten to it.
And I like it. I really like it. It's like Blade Runner, but good. So,
Yeah.
See, that's called trolling.
but I keep falling asleep. I have watched the second episode
16 times.
No, not the second. I've started the third episode like 10 times. I am not even joking, and I'm just like,
I got to tell you.
it is not boring.
Yeah, you've said it's not.
Yeah,
You've said as much on the day I picked you up.
I think I'm finally just really
You getting old?
over the hump where the old guy that falls asleep during the most exciting things on TV.
It doesn't even matter. Because that head is on that couch and you're just laying there chilling. It doesn't matter.
It's just
You watch that on Netflix. I actually Dope. Have you seen that series on there?
Oh, okay.
It's like a 4 or 5 episode thing.
Yeah.
Whoa. Really, really good stuff as far as what it did, but
Dope?
very, very enlightening. Yes. It went over several different cities on the bad guys versus the good guys, if you will, the cops versus the drug dealers, however you want to spin it. And what each side does and how it affects the communities and why they do what they do. And it was very, very
like real people.
Yeah, everything's 100% real.
True story.
Is that Netflix original or did it air on a network somewhere?
Netflix original.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was really good. Also, that's it.
Is it?
That's all I got from
What did I watch? One thing I've watched lately, I've watched a couple of the
Olympics.
Well, yeah, but that crime, I cannot remember. There's like a crime series for like financial crimes documentary series that they've done that's out there. It's got like 13th episode. I like that kind of stuff. The first,
I think it's in my queue.
the first one is.
Of course it is.
Nerd.
The first episode is done by. The first episode is directed by the guy who did the Enron movie, The Smartest Guys in the Room, that documentary. So I really like his stuff. Like he usually picks interesting things.
And musicals.
That too. Besides that, yeah, I like watched 5 seconds of Altered Carbon, but I really haven't had the time to dive into it.
It's really good. Really fascinating. Mm-hmm. And it literally it literally is ripped out of the Blade Runner world. Everything
Okay,
just
you feel like Philip K. Dick wrote it?
I don't think he did.
No, I think
This is the one science fiction he didn't write.
He wrote Blade Runner, though.
Yeah.
So Minority Report was on that actually yesterday. I was watching that for a little bit.
Oh yeah, you got to sit down and watch that, even if you have it on Blu-ray.
That's probably the best adaptation of his stuff, I would say. Well, besides Blade Runner, but that's something different. If you had seen Blade Runner years ago, I think you might have a little bit of a different perspective on it now.
You don't know that.
Well, who was it? Tony was talking to Chris. Chris Hatchett isn't a huge fan of Star Wars, right?
Right.
And it's because like he didn't see Star Wars till about like 2004.
Yeah.
Where he had already seen all these other movies that copied and innovated off of Star Wars. So it's like you're kind of going back and you're seeing the OG thing, and maybe you have some respect for it, but it doesn't hit you in the same way because you've seen this formula so many times, and even honestly, you've seen it better. Blade Runner is kind of like the same thing. Like Blade Runner was the original formula, and then a lot of people in sci-fi like innovated off of that and did their own little thing. Blade Runner and Star Wars to me are the most consistent ones that we've seen for the last 30 years.
I would apply that to myself, the way you describe that, but I did go to see the new Blade Runner, and it was modernized, but it was still noir.
Yeah, it was.
And it was like, tribute. It was like, yeah, this is still the same thing, and it was fine. I'd watch it again, I guess. I think it was better than the first Blade Runner by a long shot. But
two things: Chris Hatchett is dumb. And if you ever compare Star Wars to Blade Runner again, I will end up having to cut you.
It's kind of, I bet if someone went back and like watched a lot of the classic Star Trek movies, like that would probably be the same thing. I'm sure.
Watch some J.J. Abrams Star Treks.
Those are two very different movies.
Different.
Yeah, very different. Yeah. But to be fair, I would actually say the new Star Treks that he's done are a lot closer to Star Wars in design and formula than the classic Star Trek, which is why like folks like Casey from Geek versus Week, he hates J.J. Abrams Star Trek because
and I love him.
Yeah, and I think it's because like he holds that original universe in such high regard.
Casey just needs something to hate.
Yeah, that too. Well, I mean, that's all of them over there.
That's part of his shtick.
I need to hit him up soon.
Yeah, maybe for Black Panther. Ooh, that's this week.
Yeah.
So we'll go see that.
Guess what I'm going to see this week?
Where are you going to see?
Well, since the day that they're hearing our voices is the day of love.
Oh, yeah. Is that when you're going to go see the 50 Shades?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Have you seen the art too?
I have.
Oh, my God.
And what is that like?
Like softcore porn.
It's like Skinamax?
Yeah. And, I mean, they're all right, but I go with the wife. That's what you do, John. You know that.
No. It's really not.
I'm not saying that you go watch the 50 Shades movies, but sometimes you go to things.
You do what your wife wants you to do.
Yeah, or ask you to.
Well, I mean, people ask me all the time, what's the secret to a happy, successful marriage? I say, do whatever the heck you're told.
I'm going to call the BS flag on that. I don't think people are asking you all the time what the secret to marriage is.
You're right, but people have occasionally asked me one time in 2014 and one time in 2016. So on occasion, I'm asked.
If I ever get married, the one person I will never ask what the secret to marriage is John. I'll ask you. I'll ask Mike Slade, Jeff,
Florzik.
Even BK. I'll reach out to Playerways BK.
Whoa. What the heck's wrong with my marriage?
Whoa. BK's married?
Because no one else has ever said, the secret to marriage, Chris, when everyone asks me, is this, that's why you've automatically disqualified yourself.
Yeah, you've douchified yourself.
Yeah, we can't accept those results because you've been preparing for a response instead of
I will tell you, John,
something honest.
I've never douchified myself before. This is really special.
That crease on that shirt is holding strong.
I don't do
after a day's work.
It's a douchified crease.
We're just kidding, John.
No, I know you are.
He looks.
I still am like, we need to do scientific tests because he claims he doesn't iron them, but somehow they stay.
Speaking of BS flags that I like to throw,
like my pants will have a crease.
Can I take a picture of your arm and put it on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, just to show people this crease.
Just get my profile so I don't look so fat.
Yeah, I've already put some stuff out there.
Oh, shoot.
It's a little too late. I thought about remember when we went a couple years back and did our photo shoot?
Yeah.
I have a couple of those pictures, and I think I'm going to throw one out there. People really want to see what we look like.
I'm fatter.
They do.
It was fun when John did he did that thing with BK, like where it was for his Playerway podcast YouTube series, the deep dive one. And I posted it on our Facebook, and someone came back and he said, John looks nothing like I've imagined him for the last 2 years. So
your voice and face don't match, John.
Yeah. I like to keep it a mystery. No one will ever know.
We'll have to work on that.
Are we
ready?
I think I'm ready.
So the Olympics are going on. It's Valentine's Day.
LeBron.
#love.
How about LeBron? They're back, and they look so good.
It was one game.
Yeah, but they look so good.
People who have no idea, LeBron James, you should at least know who that is. Who? A massive trade happened.
This is where you go see John LeBron.
See John LeBron James.
the king.
They got new players, and they've been together for like a game.
And they dominated the number 2 team in the whole entire conference.
So LeBron did not get traded?
No.
Okay.
No. If anything, Cleveland at least took it back to a 50-50 odds he might stay after this year. Because about a week ago, I was about ready to say LeBron is about to check the heck out of Cleveland.
Yeah.
He is done with this. But if they could get to at least the Eastern Finals and then, win the Eastern Finals and then maybe
Lose to the Gold State.
lose competitively and go and get someone big to come in.
Yeah.
They probably will keep him for
Who knows?
We'll see.
In other news, spring football is, going to be here during the spring. So
The XSFL.
no,
Well, that's coming
like
next
the
year.
spring game, Alabama.
Oh, yeah. That's in April.
What are you talking about? That's why I said the spring.
XFL? You didn't hear?
Yes,
It's back.
But who, so
Vince McMahon cares.
yeah.
Speaking of XFL, the Playerway podcast has done a lot of coverage on that topic. So
And
if you're
that-
interested, go check that out.
And you can send that check BK to weeklygameschat.
I didn't know that.
gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com. Hey, it's our emails.
He's paying us, but not by check.
Wait, you're getting paid by like what?
What do you get paid for?
I made you feel weird for a minute.
Exposure.
Exposure. Like AIDS?
Yeah.
Yes.
You said AIDS on a podcast.
I've heard if you expose yourself, you get arrested. So you shouldn't do that in public. Pivot. Topic of the week.
You're desperate.
I'm ready.
Please.
God, let's do it.
Topic time.
The topic is...
Now I'm sad.
Let down.
I mean, how could you not know we weren't recorded when...
Because you counted down.
I did, and I kept stopping because 2 little giggly kids
But
kept going into phallic regions of description.
First of
We,
all,
we
Mumble
never
Mouth.
said anything.
Yeah.
You're the one that said
Everything would have been implied.
That was after the fact.
Yeah. We were doing what we were supposed to do.
I don't understand.
So now I'm going to sit here.
that. And we call each other Richard, so
Go
we
check it
imply
out.
things
Just
all the
check
I'm
out.
time.
about to check out.
Yeah, just check out. No one cared about your Monster Hunter conversation last week.
I did.
That hurts
yeah,
a
actually.
little bit.
Pretty good.
Hurts a
Yeah,
little
dig, huh? Doesn't it hurt when people check out?
Dig, right? You said dig.
bit. Yeah, you did say dig, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
just check.
dig. Dig.
So you're doing it again. You said dig.
Yes, dig.
See? Dig.
Dig.
Like
Dig.
like Andy Dig.
Snack dig. Anyways, topic is Shadow of the Colossus. A game that came out in 2005.
Yeah.
But the reason that
And
we're
then again in 2011.
the hype
Yes.
on this is because it wasn't just made or whatever. It was what, Chris?
It was built up from... They basically rebuilt the game graphically from the ground up.
So is that a remake or a remaster, Chris?
I would say it's kind of a combination of both because it's definitely the same movement system, control scheme, and like animation style as the original. This is, so for those who are unfamiliar, the original game is by Team Eco and Studio Japan, which it's probably, if you haven't ever heard of it, considered one of the greatest PlayStation 2 games ever made. I would argue the best.
Yeah, a lot of people say that it's probably one of the best.
It's probably, for me, a toss-up between San Andreas and that game. Those would be the two I would pick from that
GTA San
generation.
Andreas.
Yep.
I go with God of War 2
Ooh.
as another.
Let the debate begin.
That's
But
definitely
yeah,
right there.
yeah, but to your point, definitely.
What system was that on? PS2?
Yes, PS2, 2005. And then, of course, Blue Point Games remade it along with Eco in 2011. And this is also done by Blue Point here, which is kind of notable because this is like their first game in 3 years. This is pretty much all they've been working on since they released the Nathan Drake collection. This is, to their credit, this has been their expertise outside of, like, I think I looked it up, like their very first game was something original and everything else has been kind of remastered ports to new generations. They were the ones who did the God of War port. They ported Metal Gear Solid. As I said before, the Nathan Drake collection. When Titanfall came out on Xbox One, they were the ones who handled the port to Xbox 360. this has been their expertise, and I have to give credit where I think credit is due. I think this is by far their most striking and successful transition from an original vision to modern era that they've done so far. Like this game, for those who haven't seen it, go pull up gameplay from this remake and then go pull up the actual 2005 PS2 release, or even on top of that, the 2011 release, and you will see just how strikingly different in terms of design and detail it is from the original. Especially, I think their biggest achievement is the lighting in the game. I think it might be the best HDR lighting on PlayStation 4, and I would only put it behind the lighting that's in Forza Horizon 3.
And you can really see that the tiny details are kind of what really are a testament to how much work they put in. When you're traversing through the forest regions, you can see kind of the light dancing through the leaves, and it's really quite spectacular. I mean, they really, like you said, built it from the ground up and put a nice fresh coat of paint. Yeah. Everything from even the not remaster, but the HD versions from 2011, they still had that fuzzy look to them. This one, and you know a good remaster when you're looking at a game, but in your mind it feels like it always felt. Like that's what you. This is what it looked like on the PlayStation 2.
It's actually weird. I didn't have that feeling with this because I was like, I remember that game. This is nothing like that game.
Yeah, but at the same time, Shadow of the Colossus on the PlayStation 2 and the HD version, they're not ugly games by any stretch.
For their time periods, for sure, they look great. I think the other thing that made it feel so different for me is, and I would highly suggest to anyone who has the PlayStation 4 Pro that they play this way. You can choose between two versions in terms of display on PS4 Pro. One is a 4K 30 frame, which is kind of what the original game, when it was working very well, would achieve outside of 4K. It would do I think original was like 480 30 frames per second, and then the remake was 1080 30 frames per second. In this one, you can choose to do, though, a 1080p 60 frames per second version of this game, and that is probably the best version of this game I've played. Yeah, frame rate is awesome. Because
even when you played the HD collection, when you get around those big Colossus or Colossi, you would get some significant frame rate cuts.
Yeah,
it would slow down a good bit. Not a crippling effect, but you would feel the effect of those beasts in the foreground as they start coming up.
For sure.
But yeah, this game is I mean, it's perfect timing that this came out in February, and I would almost recommend this game to anybody with one caveat. The controls, they remapped a lot of things. Sure. Like the dodging mechanic used to be a 2-button control. Now it's just mapped to 1 button, which is much more convenient. However, it does. I would, to its credit, I would say the controls really work when you are facing off against a Colossus.
For sure.
Other times when you're traversing the world trying to get to your next Colossus, the controls just.
Are you trying to say that horse control mechanics from 2005 were not the breathtaking ones we got with Breath of the Wild last year, or Assassin's Creed Origins?
I would say Assassin's Creed Origins. Yeah. That is probably the most easily controlled horse I've ever used in a game. But I'm trying to give it a little bit, trying to be a little bit more kind, because as the game, I was sort of exploring and figuring out and trying to work with Aggro, the horse, in this game a little bit more, just try to figure out what worked and what didn't. A lot of times if you set Aggro on a destination, he will sort of get there on his own. Like, you don't have to turn him, you don't have to do anything like that. He will just sort of, if he starts running towards a wall, he'll just turn on his own and get to the place where he's trying to go. So, you can be a little bit more hands off with aggro, but if you start trying to control him, he will not do a thing you want him to do.
You mean like when you're doing the wonderful snake fight where you've got to be on him and try to aim back and shoot this thing in the eye?
Well, that was
because that was my biggest pain.
But it was a pain. But once I took my thumb off the thumbstick,
sure,
and just let him ride,
yeah.
He did what I wanted him to do.
See,
so if you leave aggro alone during the boss fights, he'll do it himself.
Well, see,
and that's the thing that the game doesn't explain.
Well, actually, I had a few instances with that where you're right. Like when I was in the middle and I started doing it, he was fine. Mm-hmm. It was more of like when I was on the outside, it was about a 50-50 guess if he was gonna do the right corrections or if he was going to run to the wall and stop, and then I was going to get hit by the freaking snake and have to start all over again. But on the other hand, I kind of like, to their credit, like, I'm glad they didn't just completely change this to be a game that is more mechanically designed for today in terms of movement and style. Like, as you said, like, yeah, the controls of the horse and all that kind of stuff, it's clear that it's still the original game that's built upon, right?
Yeah.
And I like that because games, more so I think than any other medium, are something that are a product of their age. Like, you know, you can just tell something is there and that it's part of it. And that's always doesn't mean that it transcends over time. Like film, something like The Godfather is built on so much stuff that came before it, and of course established stuff that came after it. But like The Godfather is still The Godfather no matter what when you sit down. It's always going to feel The Godfather. But when you pick up this, you feel like you're playing a game more or less that is mechanically from 2005. It's a little bit different. The controls aren't quite as tight for a 3D game as they are today. The world, the camera isn't always perfect at times, like when you're trying to climb and platform things around the world. But that's what's cool about it, is that you can see when a game like this, where the remakes still feel so great, how well a game has held up over time versus a lot of others that honestly I don't think do. Like a lot of games, they're a product of a time, and if you try to go back and play them now, you're not going to have a fun time unless you're willing to put your expectations aside and say this is from a different day and age.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you Google this game right now, the scores are ridiculously good for it, right?
For sure.
So it's kind of weird to hear you guys say anything about the controls in a negative way, because a lot of times you associate that with probably killing a game or killing the feel of a game. But John mentioned it right when he first said it, was like, but it feels right when you're fighting the Colossus.
Yes.
You think that's why it doesn't, I guess, hold as much of a negative impact on your overall play?
The initial game, the way it was designed, worked well because like there was frame rate issues with the original game. And yeah, the traversal I remember back then was not fun.
Did you play the PS3 version?
I've played all three.
Okay.
And but the thing that's always held up is that as long as you figured out what the puzzle mechanic was, you could get on the beast. And once you were on the beast, it was easy. You just kind of knew how to move and time and feel when you needed to rest versus when you needed to push forward, when you needed to recharge your strength and all that kind of stuff. And you would figure it out over time. There have been other games that, I mean, even from this studio, from Team Eco, you know, with The Last Guardian, where I didn't feel that way. So, like, you know, yeah. I don't have to worry about some independent AI as far as, like, controlling and telling it what to do. So I'm okay with it because climbing around on this Colossus feels natural and it feels right when I'm doing it. So I didn't have any issues with the fact that maybe when I was trying to get there, it was a little janky at times just because of its systems.
I was gonna say I'm expecting it to feel like Shadow. Of what you just said.
It does.
The Last Guardian.
See, I don't
a little bit.
I don't
the
agree.
Control part. That's what I'm expecting. But you guys are making me think that maybe it's not.
I don't personally agree that it. See, this game has actually made me think a lot about The Last Guardian, and I personally knock this particular remaster, Shadow of the Colossus, for not tightening its controls. I mean, granted, when Wander gets on the Colossus everything works. Don't get me wrong. But the fact that this game was simply designed to function perfectly while you're engaging a Colossus, not when you're trying to jump on the Colossus, that's a different story, because he still functions and controls mechanically very poorly. And nobody seems to have really dinged this game for fixing some clear issues that they could have fixed, because this is, I mean, to be put fairly, this is a fresh coat of paint, and that's it. That's really all it is. And I was taken aback by how highly praised this game was for a remaster. Now, it's added some things that you can, gear, weapons, things like that, things that don't really serve the game. Is there a fly in the room?
No. I'm smelling something like it's burning or cooking.
Oh, I smell it now.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know if we're about to burn down.
It was nice living
Even
with you guys.
even if we burn to death, we will stay here.
If this is the last podcast,
This is the Jack Pearson episode.
thank you all. We did it for you.
That was my This Is Us reference for the week.
Yeah.
But
you watch that show?
No, I just remember seeing everywhere like Jack's dying this time on the Super Bowl. So I was like, okay.
But in contrast, you go back to The Last Guardian, and the fundamental knock, which I never really understood. The fundamental knock was the controls.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like, I can't let this go. And look, who's the donkey, that YouTube guy?
Video Game Donkey.
He was making fun of the game, which of course it was funny, it was hilarious. Like,
That's what he does.
I understood it was a joke, but he was demonstrating how frustrating the controls are for Trico.
Yeah.
And I finally understood where everybody's problems were. This guy was had the boy standing on Trico's back or on top of his head, and he was doing that little dance he does, pointing in directions. And I'm going, okay, there's the problem. Trico can't see you. I mean, that kind of fundamentally, that game makes you have to think a little different about playing and controlling this game. It logically makes sense that it didn't work for you because you're standing on Trico's back. He can't see you pointing.
Yeah, I flew through that game. So I'm
it just started to click with me. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's what people
Like I said,
aren't
I only had,
understanding.
like, 4 areas that were just like to me. I was
There were
like,
only 5 areas in the whole game.
that were like when something was going on, I was like, Jesus, please just do what I'm trying to tell you. And it felt aggravating to a point where I wanted to just throw a controller at a wall.
I will say though that speaking of flying through a game, it seems like you went through this one pretty quick. Was that because you?
It's muscle memory.
Yeah, you remember. Like the only one that took me a second to remember was the tiger, which was
Tiger.
the tiger, like he charges at you. You gotta get the flame.
Oh,
Yeah. And I was like trying to remember, and then I thought I did it right, and then I screwed up and I fell off of him, and I had to have him hit me across the whole entire ramp back to the main area and then do it again to make it work. And that was probably one of the most aggravating things, just more because I would prefer if I just died, as opposed to this 5-minute ordeal of me just getting up, getting hit, staying on the ground for 30 seconds, getting up, getting hit. And I know that's where I know I'm like, this is built on the original game versus something new. Getting back to your point, I think the big difference for me and why people are probably more forgiving of this versus, say, Last Guardian is, again, this is a game from 2005, and that's 2005 mechanics. So I think the big thing that came up was that you had this game that was started in development in 2006, and took 10 years basically for it to come out. People were hoping that there was going to be an evolution, and it's like a reminder to people or developers. It's like, look, what was praised at one point when everyone else innovates, you get held to new standards as far as what's acceptable.
I know that.
I bet if that game had come out in like 2007, people might have been very different in the way it was received, like 2000, 2008.
I just see standard remakes come out all the time, and people go, "Nah, it's got a fresh coat of paint, but it's really the same old game." With the exception of, the best remaster / remake I've ever seen was The Wind Waker. Because it fixed a lot of fundamental problems with the game. They gave you that fast traversing sail that made you traverse the biggest complaint was the lulls of the high seas, how long it would take to get to places.
Sure.
So Nintendo came around and solved that problem. Remasters like that, those things get high praise. This gets high praise for a fresh coat of paint, which really isn't consistent for the gaming industry as a whole. You at least have to admit.
I'll say this: they don't get. I will give them a little bit more credit. This isn't just a fresh coat of paint. Like, this is them taking a game and putting it into a whole new engine.
No, it's the same code.
No, it's the same code. It is a different engine what they are using in this game. And that's what they said. They built this up using, is it the Crytek engine or something like that? And, compared to what was around the time there, like, I give them credit because, like I said, God rays in this game, the level of detail as far as the environments and the way that they move around. Like, if you go and you look at, like, for instance, the 2005 version of the third Colossus, where he's on the big disc around, and you have to go up the broken pathway and get up there. That whole entire area of the game is completely much more built out than it was back then. And even then, like, later in the game, when you go by where the waterfalls are, the way those look, those have completely all been redrawn into something completely different. This isn't like where, say, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, where you go from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, or
look, I appreciate
basically all you're doing is
all
porting
of that.
all the PC.
I appreciate all of that.
Yeah,
it's the same game.
I mean, the controls.
It's okay. Right. It's not a knock. It's the same game.
Sure, and I guess I'm fine with that. Just because I don't want people to play this and like think it's something it's not. I want people to understand what this game is.
Well, let's tell them what this game is. This game is.
I think most people would know what this game is by now.
I really.
All right.
No, but what do you want to add though? I mean, I'm not being.
I think he wants to say like what this game is. It's basically a tale of a young boy.
In that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tale of a young boy who is simply called the Wanderer. He approaches a forbidden.
He's called Wander.
Yeah,
that's his name. Yeah.
He approaches.
You may take it from here.
He approaches a forbidden land with a deceased.
It's the forbidden land.
You gonna be a dick about this the whole entire time? But anyways, he approaches a forbidden land with a deceased woman who is not given a name, and he puts her on a pedestal and basically talks to I guess what can best be described as a god, right, or some sort of deity named Dorman. Isn't that what it is? And basically, he wants to bring her back to life and has learned that this Dorman guy can do that. And Dorman says, yes, I can do that, but in exchange, you must first kill 16 Colossus, or Colossi, as you said, that roam this land. And that's basically the motivation of the story as far as where he goes from there.
It's one of the games from Ueda, which and he's basically known, and by playing this game, you would easily see that he excels in a minimalist approach to game designs.
Sure.
I mean, you can almost say, I think we mentioned last week that Punch-Out was the original Shadow of the Colossus. And when we say that, what we mean is the opponents themselves are basically the levels. So you can say you have this big open world that really doesn't serve any purpose. There's no weapons hidden in the world. There's there's some.
There's little insects.
Yeah, there's some in this new version.
You're not going to meet anyone out in this world to converse with.
You don't upgrade weapons. You don't meet anybody. It's an empty land, and you're basically going to fight. There are 16 levels in the game, and the bigger the Colossus gets, the more you start to realize this is an actual level with platforms and
for sure,
and segments of the level,
especially that final one. Without spoiling anything,
that's the definitive version of a level. I was thinking about that last night. It's like, definitely a level.
It's like a pre-level to get to and then it's a new whole level whatsoever from going from the bottom to the first tier, then another level when you finally get his hand. But playing this game, I have to say, the two things that struck me that I had not thought about was there are two games that have won IGN's Game of the Year over the last 5 years that I think in retrospect, I'm willing to bet the developers took a lot from Shadow of the Colossus, mainly on how they built an isolated world and used minimalism to tell a story that worked really, really well. One of them is Journey, which is kind of the same. You drop in, no one gives you context. You just go on this story, and you're going forward, and you find these ruins, and it doesn't tell you what happened, but you can kind of piece maybe an idea. And the other one was last year with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think that game, you walk around that whole entire world, and as you go over the hill, you see some ruins, and you have an idea that there was something here before, but you don't ever get a lot. And maybe about the only big difference is that you actually meet some people along the way. But most of Zelda, when you're playing it, it's an open abyss of a forgotten world that you're just exploring, and you don't know what you're going to encounter next. So I think it's very clear, like a lot of developers I think have taken from that. There's the game that's coming out this year that pretty much is ripping this off, Pray for the Gods, which I can't wait to play. I hope that game works out good.
So let me ask you how this works. The game came out in 2005. Are we worried about spoiler territory here?
I don't know.
Are we supposed to give like?
I don't want to dive into it only because it's been a while. Thank you.
The reason I ask is because I was just wondering. I was just wondering what Colossus is a particular favorite of.
Oh, okay, we can do that.
But I don't know if that goes too much into.
That's fine. I think we won't.
I'm not answering it.
We won't spoil the story, but personally, for me,
the first one.
My favorite would probably be, man, that's hard. Either the bird.
The bird is dope.
There's a few.
The first bird you come across, like where it's like a pterodactyl and it's on the lake, and you have to jump on them. Yeah, that one's very memorable because for me always, because the first time I did that, that was the moment when I was like, there has never been anything like this that has worked, and that has held.
You thought that back then?
Yeah, and I was pissed off because it used to be a lot.
Flag.
It used to be a lot. It used to be a lot harder actually to get on that bird. That's the one thing I will give them credit, and they kind of did it with the 2011 remaster. They worked to make it a little bit easier to jump on the bird the first time. It used to be you would jump and miss about 5 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So
I will say playing Monster Hunter. Jumping on some of these animals that you can jump on feels a lot like trying to jump onto a Colossus.
I would say that I wouldn't be surprised they took a lot from that series too. Just the idea of big epic boss fights.
You're on this huge monster and you have to learn. Okay, can I stab now? Do I need to hold on? And if you overexert, you're gone.
That sounds exactly like this game.
And it reminded me a lot of Shadow. So, and by the way, update: we did beat the animal that I said we were going to go beat that night last week.
There you go.
Yeah,
you just
that's how we roll.
You just have to sort of admire the rush that the game, along with its musical score, gives you.
Yeah.
The way, I mean, you'll be doing certain things, like, for example, the pterodactyl will be, flying around and it has that very melodramatic music. But as soon as it starts to come at you and you leap onto that wing, the music and the tempo goes immediately up, and you feel like you're in a race against time.
For sure.
Like this is,
it's
like you're part of a movie or something like that. Or that moment, that moment when you're the other flying creature in the game where you're trying to knock out a couple of its under.
Like the dragon.
Yeah, it's like a dragon. But when the wings come down and you're on aggro, one of those rare moments in game when aggro sort of works for you, you're just chasing along this beast and you leap from aggro onto this beast, and then the music changes and you're in a race against time to cut this beast down. I mean, it's just amazing stuff. But I got the funnest the moment where I was like, man, this part just always grabs me. The third Colossus, that tall knight,
with the sword,
with the stone sword.
That's great too.
Just the height. I mean, and there are, as the game progresses, taller.
Yeah,
beasts.
That next to the last one is humongous too.
Yeah, but that thing, when you see it, you're like, when you see it, you're like, geez. This game is doing something I've never seen before.
For sure.
But I mean, the most memorable is the one, the second tiger-like creature where you're you're trying to get him to knock down a couple of things.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That one's just fun to me.
Yeah. I like that one a lot more than the first one.
Yeah.
Like that one, I was like, okay, just hop from here up to there.
I will say, John, just to piggyback on what you said, man, it's a simple concept. You add the right music to the right moment,
for sure,
and it elevates it to a level that you can't. You're like, how could it be anything different? When it's perfect. And I appreciate that a lot.
And don't get me wrong about aggro. As frustrating as he can be to deal with in game, I think it's a he. Yeah. In game, once you get her going and he did it again. Once you get him going and he's traversing the world, it's breathtaking.
Aggro hasn't said what he identifies as. I'm using he in an asexual way. Anyway,
and we did that.
But yeah,
you know what?
Am I the only one who does this? That when I get to the top of the Colossus and I'm extending the sword out to do a major blow, I go, "You shall not pass."
You are the only one.
Okay,
I don't
that's
think you
me.
do that.
I do it.
Sitting right there.
Yes. Because
and you wonder why someone moved out.
I go as soon as I approach him, I'm like, fire will not avail you, flame of Undu.
We've got to get him a roommate.
Really
he's going crazy.
Not a roommate.
La 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 la. But I would give this 9.5 Richards out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a lot of Richards.
That is. I'd say with the price alone, I haven't bought it or played it, people, obviously, since I checked the F out for a little while. You can't. How do you pass this game up if you own a PS4 for $39.99, right?
Apparently, Slade does, unless I sell it to him for.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was like, I'll sell it to you for $30.
It's $39. Slade.
Yeah.
And the trophies make it worth going back to and doing a couple things.
Yeah.
Did
you 100% it?
No, because there's like, God, you have to beat the game and on hard in like 5 hours in order to do that. You got to do that. You have to get the 79 new coins that they've added. You've got to do all these like hard mode trials that unlock cool things, but at the same time,
by the time you do them, you're already done.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you give it out of Richards?
8 or an 8.5.
Ooh,
I saw that coming.
Yeah. It's just, the controls.
He wants to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
and
cool.
That's it. I just want to be different.
So definitely not game of the year for John, huh?
No, I'm glad I got it.
I don't think it'll be game of the year for me either.
And according to IGN scale, that's a great game.
It is.
Hey, how's that Metroid DS game coming along?
Never finished it.
He gave that a 9.
It was funny today. I was talking to John, and I go, yeah, I got to pick it up. He goes, well, you can just play mine. I'll let you borrow it. And I was like, no. The only thing I want to borrow from you is Horizon. And then, John, what did you say?
I own that digitally.
No. You said, but I can't let you borrow it.
Oh, well.
Come on,
because
John.
Because it's digital.
Oh, my God. React.
Are you hurt?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Because it was really funny when it happened, and I thought for sure
the show blows.
He'd come through for me. He did not.
So yeah, Shadow of the Colossus, it's out. I highly suggest if you've played it before, get it, and I highly suggest if you want to see one of the best games from the PS2 era, if not the best one. This is, if your only excuse has been graphics, that's why you haven't played this game. Then, well, you've run out of excuses.
Yeah, I mean, they don't often redo this kind of thing to games from that long ago.
Yeah.
And it's here. Go get it.
For sure.
Play it.
Do it.
For the love of Pete.
For John, do it.
For John, I mean, he came back from the dead to play this game.
That says something. We ready to do some news?
Sure.
John?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See y'all in a minute.
Yep.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News! That's why I don't have neighbors.
Because every Monday at whatever time this is, they go, there goes that guy saying news again. We got to move.
Why do they sound like they're from Redneckville, USA?
Because they were. That's why, Chris.
And Chris, speaking of that, how is T-Bone?
Ooh. T-Bone. Pickens?
Redneck impression.
Yeah,
T-Bone.
because you live here.
Oh.
This show blows.
This is there's
So
a sound
hard.
clip that I used to hear where like somebody's getting run over by a horse. Basically, you hear the and you hear oh good lord, because it's just terrible.
I'm just spinning my phone.
Just spinning my phone, waiting on the news.
I'm waiting for someone to be engaged on this news.
I'm engaged. What does that
No,
mean?
no, not you. The person who's spinning his phone.
Quit being a Richard right now, or apparently we can just say quit being a dick because Chris said it earlier.
No, we already said that. You can say Dick because Dick is just a variation of Richard.
Go ahead
Logic.
and say dick right now because you can, John.
Dickity,
Please.
dick, dick,
If you don't say dick, I'm going to hit you in the Richard.
That's a Millhouse. Release date for Vampire, whatever it is. Don't Nod.
What?
Did I say that right? That's got to be right? Don't Nod?
Yes,
Let me pull it up.
You know the developer.
Let me pull it up.
Well, I know it, but like,
Don't nod.
yeah. The developer of Life is Strange has finally announced the release date for Vampire, or Vampire, whichever it is, which will come out for PC and console on June 5th. This still lies within the spring 2018 window the studio had been aiming for at the initial delay last year. The update came via the final episode of Stories from the Dark, the game's web series. The story of Vampire is set in the early 20th century London. We'll have players take the role of a doctor who is turned into a vampire, creating a struggle between characters on taking life versus preserving it. Which host do you think is looking forward to the game the most? Probably you, but I'm also looking forward to that game, I guess.
It's Vampire.
I'm looking forward to it the most.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Ooh.
That's settled then.
Well, now we know.
I don't want to play this game at all.
Do you?
Ain't that
Penny
right,
wants
Penny?
to play.
Ain't that right, Penny?
I just haven't really figured out, Don't Nod is more famous for its fake games. Like more story heavy games. So I'm not clear as to what kind of game this is.
How many fake games have you made, John?
I don't even know what that means. So, if it's,
Chris, they can hear that.
I don't know if there's enemies that you kill.
Did you hear last week? Did you listen to the audio? When you did that last week, they could hear it.
Uh-oh.
So that is directly affected to the quality of this program.
It's really weird. I'm not hearing me.
You're
Yeah, sucks, doesn't
Okay.
it?
Why don't
Why don't you get over yourself, Chris? It doesn't matter because they can hear you, right?
That's true.
Hey, that was real because we say that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was your way of saying it back to ooh.
Check 1, 2. See, yeah, but I'm also peering low on here, which is not good.
Why would we stop the recording just so we could tighten you up, right?
I don't know.
Let's just
Whoa,
let this
now
play
we're
out. Yeah, now you're super hot.
Way too loud.
See what happens? This is why like people in audio do sound checks, Chris, before the live shows.
It changes whenever
It
I
doesn't.
stop.
It doesn't.
Really? You know okay, cool.
Nod
I
your
know
head
you bought this.
and wiggle your body all you want to, but what I'm trying to tell you is I don't know.
You're like, look, I think I know about what I don't know. Activision Blizzard has had a stellar year in the digital. Activision Blizzard has reported a $7 billion net revenue for its 2017 fiscal year for the fourth quarter. Digital revenue accounted for $1.62 billion. This accounts for over half of its total revenue. Call of Duty Black Ops Zombie Chronicles add-on was the #1 game add-on for Sony PlayStation 4. Call of Duty World War II sold 30% of its total copies digitally, setting a one-day record for the PlayStation Store. The company's net bookings totaled $7.16 billion with a B.
billion.
Of which $5.43 billion was digital. That's pretty dang good.
Did you catch the troll in there?
I have no idea. No, I didn't. I mean, but I figured the news would be better than that, but I guess I was just wrong.
No, the news must be tarnished weekly.
That's probably why it's mainstream media.
Can you point out the troll for me?
Well,
I think that would make great podcast radio.
fiscal. I wrote down fiscal, but in parentheses to help you, I wrote down physical.
I just skipped over it.
I see the troll.
But you said physical.
I have no idea. Monster Hunter World is a monster hit.
Pun intended.
Hey.
Yeah.
I wrote those.
I saw you
With
did
5
that.
million copies
I got one of those.
shipped in the first 3 days of release. Monster Hunter World is a hit by every measure. Capcom has announced that the game has shipped 6 million, making it the fastest selling Capcom title to date. While units shipped doesn't mean sold, it's a testament to the game's continued popularity. The game will continue to receive new updates such as monsters.
Yeah, I covered that last week about the stuff they're planning on
Yeah.
doing. That's going to be really cool. It'll keep the community vibrant and going for, at least a couple of days.
Dang it.
Sure.
Why didn't I put vibrant in that?
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word of the
I
day.
should say, ooh.
Ooh.
I wish you could cue in vibrant thing right now. That'd be great. Because every time I say that word, I hear that song in my head.
Okay.
Tell me who sings it then.
I don't know.
What?
Not a fan.
This podcast is
I'm
worse
tired.
than a Mentos commercial.
Fortnite
First of all, that's not true and completely subjective.
beats PUBG.
Yeah, I felt this. You're going to read it. I'm going to let you read it.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah, I'm going to let you finish, but I do feel like this was going to happen. So this is.
Yeah. And I'll explain because this isn't quite, I think, accurate. But due to its Battle Royale mode, Fortnite has passed PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and concurrent players on PC. The game hit 3.4 million concurrent players. On Sunday, February 4th, Fortnite has gone from 60,000 concurrent to 3.4 million in just a few months within the rapid expansion of the game. Epic is calling on all qualified folks with expertise in the domain and servers to apply. And I believe this isn't just PC. This was everything. This was PC, Xbox, PlayStation combined. They said when it came out. And I remember because, what was it, Sunday, this crashed the server when this happened. They were saying, like, as soon as they hit 3.4, they couldn't take it anymore, so all their servers fell apart. But, yeah, it doesn't surprise me, Sean, that this has happened. I mean, it's a free-to-play game. It's on 3 different platforms.
Yeah. The free-to-play helped it. The word of mouth of players playing it.
Sure.
Think about even our little circle, right? Mm-hmm. And then the content that they're keeping fresh.
Yeah.
They're doing cool little things like an MMO would do for seasons. They got Christmas themes, Halloween themes, things of that nature. And the microtransactions, it's one of the few games where you kind of like, you can pick and choose. It doesn't affect your overall play, but you kind of want the things you see, so they're making money off of it.
There's no such thing as a cheap thing in that game.
Right. So they're making money. They've abandoned their other game they were working on.
Yeah. Paragon has been shut down. It's really weird because it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, the best thing I can say is, like, Epic is showing they're much more seasoned developer, of course, than PUBG Corp, which isn't too surprising. I mean, Brendan Green, before this game came out, the main thing he did was mod. So, he didn't have tons of success. But since then, it's been, him learning, which is why I think when we were talking about last week of things like Microsoft might purchase, it makes sense that maybe they might go purchase this game because he might not want to be the guy who has to continually reform this thing to be something great. He can just give that off to Microsoft and he can go make something new with all the billions of dollars he has, and he won't ever have to care about it.
Well, just because a point of clarification was made. And IGN could be incorrect.
Yeah.
Maybe IGN's incorrect. But just for the purpose of making sure the listeners have what they need, IGN saying Fortnite has passed PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and concurrent players on PC, citing the 3.4 million. Going on to say that PUBG had around 3.14 million concurrent players on PC.
Ooh.
So that's IGN. IGN could, maybe they need to correct their article.
Yes.
And if that's the case, understood.
Yeah, let's see. It was, where did I see this? Where did I see?
Grinding halt.
No, they listen to us, so they'll correct it.
No, I saw it on Polygon. That's where I saw it. And it was basically saying, hey.
Is this an on-air
which makes
reprimand
sense.
for our news department or for our host?
It's
No,
Somebody's got to take the fall.
Did Polygon correct the story and say this was actually
They just said many of those players, no doubt, were enjoying the game's free-to-play Battle Royale mode called Battle Royale. The game mode exists on the main game client and is available on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Epic has not disclosed how many of these 3.4 million users have paid full price for the base game and how many are just playing the Battle Royale. But I mean, it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you total? Like, if you can get that number as large as you can, I'm going to pull in every base at once because they are they're their servers.
And then, I mean, if you raise the paywall part, then that's legitimate. I mean, you've got 3.14 million concurrent PUBG players who paid to play.
Exactly.
Versus,
yeah.
But with that said, Sean, I would be curious to know, aside from it being free, why is this starting to overtake PUBG?
No.
In some senses, not every sense.
You can't. I can't completely dismiss. Besides, free has a huge
yes, of course,
reason to do it, but the replayability factor is amazing. It's got a little charm to it. It doesn't take itself too serious, and it's fun. It's not as I don't mean this in a bad way because
isn't it cartoony?
It is.
It's
versus
cartoonish.
PUBG's not cartoony.
More realistic.
Yeah.
Much more.
I'm just frankly, I'm blown away that this game is competing on the same level as PUBG.
It's a little easier than I think PUBG.
I'd say it's
it's more condensed.
It's accessible.
It's free. Yeah, it's more accessible. It's on more platforms. And basically, as I said, Epic is really, the big difference you can see is Epic is a big developer. Like when we were playing this game a couple months ago versus now, this game has gone over change after change. They've redone the map to kind of making it more interesting and having biomes and all that. They've added the whole entire season thing as far as progression and all that in a way where you have something to grind for if you pay them $10 a season, or you can also pay them tons of money, to generate revenue for them. Like all of that stuff is in there. The party system works great. And I think that and as he said, like it's a little bit easier to grasp than PUBG. Like when you go into PUBG,
there's a ton of things you can do.
And you're always starting every match from zero.
Yeah. Both games you are. And
I think what does this pay to?
What are you talking about?
That you could buy stuff on Fortnite. And
you can buy cosmetic things.
Cosmetics. So let's say you buy an axe. You can buy an axe that you're going to use to break down things.
Up like a big pink.
You can buy an outfit.
Bear.
You can buy a glider because when you jump off the bus, you have a glider. Those don't really.
Yeah.
Like for example, somebody may say, "Well, technically, you can chop somebody with an axe. Each axe, no matter what, is going to damage for the same. So that doesn't do anything."
They keep adding new guns too.
New guns, new things like that. PUBG, it's so intricate in the things you can do. It has like for example on PC, it has a button, so you can just kind of angle yourself around a corner like a little tilt. You have to worry about helmets and helmet levels and vests and vest levels in PUBG. When I say that, I mean like a level 1 helmet is not as good as a level 3. So you really got to gear yourself up. Whereas in Fortnite, you get a potion that gives you kind of like a shield, and you're good to go. And then you just worry about getting what gun do you feel more comfortable shooting with, and you kind of go with it.
Like I don't think whereas in PUBG, someone who gets an M4 versus someone who just has a single bolt action rifle, the person who has the M4, and especially if they have an 8x zoom scope on that thing, has such an immense advantage over its competition. It's not even funny. Versus in this, when you land in the game, the only thing you are concerned is just finding a gun, because as long as you get a gun, you can easily survive. Especially in squads with your teammates. Like, it doesn't matter if I get a basic assault rifle. It's just that I have an assault rifle. Sure, I might get a little bit damage more if I have a blue or a green one. And that might be a benefit later on if people have shields on and equipped and things like that. But it's not going to kill me, versus like unless I just happen to come across a guy with a gold scar right off the bat. I can survive if I'm good. Is the point. Whereas, like I said, PUBG, if you come out of like your first area and you don't, most professional players are like, if you don't have at least a level 2 helmet on, you're sitting duck these days on PC because everyone's going for headshots in that game. And
why wouldn't you, right?
pretty much.
Well, if you can, and that's what he said. The good guys find a way to they win the gunfights in the beginning. They get the guns with the super zoomed in scopes, and then they're going to start doing headshots.
But then there's those losers that try to snipe you with a shotgun from 100 yards.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say though, I did.
Shout out to Josh.
I've got I've got PUBG on Xbox, and I've got Fortnite on PC. I've got both games on PC, but I got Fortnite on PS4 Pro. And I did get a chicken dinner on
you mentioned that.
PUBG on the Xbox, which was crazy. And then we win a couple of times a night in Fortnite, and I think if I ever got to be as good in PUBG winning like that would be crazy because of how hard it is to play.
I bet you're good at shooting.
I think that's one of the reasons why everyone kind of gravitated to it right away was that it was a lot easier to pull off a victory in that game than it seemed like.
On a very local level, Chris, there was one person who wouldn't shut up about us playing with them.
You're like, man,
Ryan
you gotta
Leaf.
play this.
I figured.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But I mean, even then, like, it started off like where they were winning maybe once a week. And now it's like gone to the point where
we're mad if we don't win.
Yeah, like if they don't win, like people are upset, which is, I don't care about that personally. That's why I only play one night a week.
That's why you played that game.
No, I play to hang out with my friends, if I'm being honest. And I want to win.
I want to punch him in the throat right now.
It's not.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm thinking that I'm my friends.
He edits the show. Don't punch him in the throat.
Why? If I found out that's edited, John,
We need him.
revolt.
I will burn it all down.
Apparently, it started. It's still smelling.
Right?
Somebody's either making like a Totino's pizza in the oven.
Probably what it is.
Oh man, that sounds good.
What does you want to go get some pizza? After the show?
Speaking though, before we continue, we did get an email about Fortnite.
Oh, cool.
You're going to go ahead and bring it in right now?
Yeah, I was going to bring it in.
Can you
it's
read it?
Terrible email.
Can you read it
by a
while I
terrible
wet?
listener.
Oh, this is.
Yeah. Mike Slade writes in and says, Fortnite is clearly the biggest game in the world right now, yet you've never had an episode dedicated to it. 50% of your audience plays it nonstop. What gives? We did an episode. It's called PUBG. It came out last December.
And we've talked, not necessarily an episode dedicated to Fortnite, but we've talked several times about Fortnite, especially with me chiming in. We talked about the updates to the map. That was a news article, if I recall correctly.
Correct.
And sometimes it's all about timing, and the game's kind of just blown up. It didn't initially start out big. So
Plus, it's in early access.
Yeah.
We don't talk about games that
we technically talked about PUBG because it became a release.
Yes, we knew it was coming out, so we went in and covered it.
Yeah.
We got ahead of the storm.
So basically,
they still could cancel this game.
yeah, in theory, they could cancel this game.
I might have responded back to him. I said, this might seem like spam.
But
Delete.
Hey, we appreciate the feedback, listener. What was his name again? Mike Slade?
Yeah, Slade.
Okay.
Because I love your... Oh.
I was actually thinking about when you were talking about Fortnite, like
maybe we will.
Maybe we should do an episode.
We'll save that one.
Bring Mike Slade on.
No.
That'd be awesome.
We could bring the
Ryan
Leaf on for that.
He'd come for that.
Dude, I think we should get... This would make
and he'd
me very happy. Bring the Ryan Leaf and the Mike Slade on at the same time.
I'd sit that one out just so I can,
You don't have to sit it out. You sit over here by me and stuff.
We can share a mic.
No. Just sit over here by me.
Oh.
Don't ever touch my mic.
Anyway.
I just sit there. Read a book.
That's funny. Bandai Namco. Question mark? Bandai Namco is rumored to be working on Metroid Prime 4 for the Switch.
Yes. This
News
makes me
broke
happy.
earlier this week that Bandai Namco was working on Ridge Racer.
I saw this.
An unannounced FPS for the Switch, according to multiple sources. The FPS is Metroid. According to Eurogamer,
you know how they lie.
studio is Bandai Namco Singapore. This team apparently has key members who were previously working on Star Wars 1313.
Why we got to bring that game up? I wanted that game so bad in my hands.
Well, I mean,
EA,
the what's interesting to me about that is 1313 was never going to be a first-person shooter.
Correct.
It's going to be a third person. Sure. I bet you, I would bet a chicken dinner.
Oh, winner!
That this Metroid Prime 4 is not going to be a first-person shooter.
I hope not.
I would like to see it as I would like to see it as like a Dead Space, Gears of War over the shoulder.
That would be that'd be awesome to see Samus behind you like that. That'd be dope.
Might have just been they brought him in because just shooter level design, right?
Yeah.
Quit with all your common sense and input, dude.
I really,
We just want to speculate over here, okay?
really gets old, man.
I mean, aren't I making a speculation?
No.
Yes, I am. I'm speculating that might be the reason why they brought in.
It's speculation based on wishful thinking.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
so what you're saying
I
is,
like the Metroid Prime series, but
Plus, I mean, you have the two Joy-Cons, which would
yeah,
they love their
one
their
can
mission.
assume that they're going to try to do that, but
Umi.
I just
Make a
I like
assume?
I like the Samus in the 2D because she's more agile,
Yeah, you do.
and in the Metroid Prime game she's more bulky.
Well, don't tell her how she has to live her life.
How hot is she though when she takes her helmet off? Right?
I have
Yeah.
no idea what you're talking about.
Why?
What?
What do you mean? You bought 7 of that amiibo.
No, I didn't. Shut up.
Speaking of buying things, Nintendo Gold Point.
Yeah.
Nintendo has announced My Nintendo users will soon be able to spend gold points on Nintendo Switch games in the eShop. Starting in early March, you will be able to spend any gold points you've accumulated in My Nintendo when purchasing Nintendo Switch software from the Nintendo eShop on your device, or even via the Nintendo website. You can pay for the remaining balance with the Sega eShop funds or any other payment method available in Nintendo eShops.
Did you just say Sega? Did I write Sega somewhere?
Sega.
You said Sega.
I should.
I think
You said Sega, dude.
I
should've.
think one gold coin is worth a penny per dollar.
So like 1 billion will get you.
Yeah, it takes not billion, but it takes a lot of coins. I think I have
I really should register all my Switch games. I do not.
what do I got?
I probably should do that.
I think I've
probably
got
should've.
I think I've got 260 coins.
So that
So
would
it's
be like
26 cents.
That might bring
Yeah.
me down $5 on a game. I don't know. I forget how the math works out, but I think they said a penny per dollar.
need like a picture of the board with 55,000 equations trying to figure out what the value of this is.
But hey,
But
I think it's good.
it's interesting they're doing it. They've never done this before, and I'm glad they're doing this.
Sure, for sure.
When are they going to bring
kinda
trophy
like,
systems in though?
I'm trying to think.
So we can
Stay
platinum,
tuned for September.
It's
So we
kind
can
of like
platinum Mario.
it kind of reminds me a little bit like Microsoft has Microsoft Rewards, where it's like as long as you're buying stuff through them over time, they give you points, and like when you get to a certain level, they go like, "Hey, here's I think it's like a $12 credit that you can then put to your account and buy whatever you want." through
Never
the store.
seen that. Don't buy a lot of stuff.
Well,
at the
see,
store.
if you were an actual Xbox user, you would notice these
Yeah.
things. You can
It
sign
was-
up.
And speaking of the online service launching in September, people have speculated, and I think this is a safe assumption that they're not
Pay
just
for it.
well. Yes, of course.
No, I mean, like with the coins.
Oh, well, that I don't know,
Huh.
but they're going to bring. Go ahead.
I got it. No, go.
No, they're probably going to bring a new Smash
Oh.
to boost the online, make you go. Here's
bridge
our
the-
online
that's-
service.
I
Here's
thought you were
Smash.
going a different way. I thought you were going to say like if you had the online service, it would give you a boost as far as the amount of coins you earn.
Oh, maybe that too. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what.
Because it gives you rewards for playing certain things on the mobile apps, things like that. But with Splatoon being sort of old at that point, Mario Kart, all that stuff, they need something new to launch with the online service. So
Yeah, they
it's
need-
got to be Smash.
when are they going to partner with Skype so it's easier?
I'm hoping they do some. Hey man, I'm
I
with
don't
you.
think- well,
I'm with you
'cause
on
they
that.
would never-
Skype is by Microsoft.
Yeah, they would never do
blah.
Discord though. They could go with Discord.
Why wouldn't they partner with Microsoft? They're joining their online community for Rocket League.
Sure, but it might be a little bit different for having Microsoft's Premier.
EULA agreements and
Chat
stuff,
app.
bruh.
What's happening?
Who knows? I mean,
don't know what a
it
EULA?
would make sense if they did.
But anyway, we're getting Smash in September, which would be huge.
I hope they announce something because
Speaking of
that's kind of the big
speculation, bro.
thing.
What about
It's going to be announced at E3.
It's like really about the only big thing coming this year or supposedly coming this year is Metroid Prime.
You don't know that.
It's,
and maybe the Pokemon game whenever that's coming.
At the end of
but
the year, we're going to talk about how great they laid their year out again.
it's possible. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I really do not know, and I do not pretend to know. I will not be surprised if it's like, look, we went really hard early on because we wanted to make sure this thing got off the ground and did well. But you played your big cards, and now it's like, well, we're going to have to wait a little bit.
Mario 2's coming out, bruh.
Oof, that would be nice, but those usually take about 3 years.
They started it 4.5 years ago, so it's
Did
good.
they?
Yeah,
Did they?
we're good.
You called Reggie? You're like, hey, are you working on the sequel already?
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
He like sent you a demo and be like, you can green light that sequel.
Yeah.
That's what you did?
Yeah. Green light the sequel. That's
Yeah. Give it a green light.
yeah, that's speak
From
for that
John
kind
Legend?
of yeah. Oh,
Right?
yeah.
What did I miss?
Everything,
I
John.
know.
We went so many levels.
Tune the again, John.
Black Ops 4, rumored to be coming this fall. According to a report by Eurogamer, this year's Call of Duty will be the latest iteration of the popular sub-franchise Black Ops. The game is currently being developed by Treyarch, the maker of the first 3 games, in its latest earnings call with Activision. It was confirmed that Treyarch is developing this year's game, but they provided no additional details, saying, quote, "This fall, we plan to continue to exceed fans' expectations with the new release from Treyarch,
Thank you.
the creators of Black Ops, the most successful sub-franchise in all of Call of Duty history, and we cannot possibly wait to share more information with you on future calls." I so changed the wording of that. Said Activision president Cody Johnson.
That's Cody Johnson.
Cody. We're going with Cody.
I think there was an announcement, and I might have maybe I just wishful thinking.
Who are you firing?
that
Somebody
they're
in the news?
bringing Call of Duty to the Switch this year.
Yes, it was. That was rumored. It was in the rumor.
So not
with Black
confirmed.
Ops. Yeah, like
Okay.
the guy who said Black Ops this year said it was. He said PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. So,
The Black Ops franchise there's a reason it sells so well and people love it because it's super. It's fun, John.
So Call of Duty will launch with Nintendo's online service.
that could.
dear God, it'll break.
Oh my god!
Right?
Oh my.
All 50 people
Hey.
who buy that game on Switch, they'll break the whole.
First of all, that number's a little low, Chris. You're going to be surprised on
49.
how many tweens buy that game
120.
on the Switch.
Okay.
Watch what I look.
Okay.
Watch this. Watch what I tell you.
Okay.
What's that?
Watch what I tell you.
Watch what I
Watch what I tell you. I don't know. I'm sure we'll do fine. I didn't play the last one, so
Yeah, that's a.
World War II?
That's an amazing.
no.
The Black Ops 3.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I played World War II, the campaign. I enjoyed it. It was solid.
Yeah, you didn't play online because you.
No,
suck.
I didn't. I played like one night with Josh D, and that was about it. Because everyone else was playing something else at that point. And
We were playing it on PS4.
yeah, I have it on PS4.
Yeah, we were playing it.
Slight head bob.
There was no reason for the head bob, but I was saying we were playing it on PS4.
yeah.
He was just having
He
fun.
overuses the head bob. Let's be honest.
Why wouldn't he? It's glorious.
I don't want to play with you guys on there. Y'all are mean.
Okay,
Y'all
you
are-
suck.
I try to actually get the objective.
Don't suck.
No, these
He
guys
just
are
said
like.
you guys are mean, and you went, "You suck."
Yeah. What happens is one, two things. Either we
does he
go
suck?
to the points.
Does he suck?
Dude,
We go to the
terrible.
points, and
Is he?
It's like he
No,
has
I'm
no
not
hands
great.
when he's playing.
we either do one, two things. We either go to the points and we succeed immensely, and it's domination. Everyone's happy and fun, or we go to the points and it doesn't go well. And instead of like anyone figuring out how to readjust, we just all scream at each other, and then we get more upset after the end of the match.
Chris hears quote unquote everybody screaming at each other. We're all screaming at him, so it gets lost in his little earlobes.
No.
We're saying,
they're-
Chris, quit going to B. Chris,
No.
leave B alone.
Usually Tate's the one going, "Why is no one at B with me?"
And it's because you go all the way to C. If we're at A, you're like flipping the maps constantly.
yeah, dude.
You're like 2 and 48.
I try a different
terrible.
strategy because like I get to a point where I'm like, well,
you know-
obviously, you know what? We're not taking B.
You know why it doesn't work? Because you don't communicate it. You just go
What's-
rogue.
I do it. I
What's
say no.
B?
I do say it. I say,
pull out
hey,
the
I'm
audio.
taking C.
Pull it out.
Never. What?
It's like
Oh.
the
I'm just
worst
kidding,
thing,
buddy.
Worst thing ever.
Don't forget, Chris. You're the reason I ever played Call of Duty.
Yeah. Made you buy an Xbox 360. Played with you for 4 days and said I'm moving on. It's been real, but I got to play something else. I think it was like Mass Effect 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Destiny 2 getting a major expansion. During the same Activision's earnings call, Johnson also revealed that Destiny 2 will get a major expansion at the end of 2018. CEO Eric Hirschberg stated, "We have a great expansion coming in May and a major expansion coming at the end of the year, and those events have always been opportunities to re-engage our communities and win back people who have churned out. This is an incredibly passionate game or passionate group of players, and that passion is a good thing, even when the sentiment is critical, because it shows how deeply people care about the game. And we think that's one of the things that makes this a great franchise. And we're fully committed to listening and communicating with our community more frequently and more transparently than ever, making the right changes to improve the experience. We think we have the right path forward. Most have presumed this major expansion will mirror the Taken King in size and scope.
I think most people say it better.
Yeah.
Or but you see how long that was? That's kind of what they do. They got a promise and you got to wait, and then it comes out and sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's not. They got to do something that The Rock used to say in WWE.
Smell what the
he used to put his hand out and he'd make a little motion and he'd say, just bring it. Quit talking and just bring it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that Taken King was a...
You said if you smell.
I think he was trying to do... I almost did it myself. Can you
smell what I'm cooking, The Rock? I mean, come on, John.
you smell that?
I would say...
One is cooking.
I'll say if I think of like a moment for this series besides the launch that was the biggest, most important, it was probably the Taken King expansion. And a lot of people say that really changed a lot of the problems.
I read the news. I know that.
I was in the front lines, bro.
Yeah.
I know you were.
It changed a lot of the problems that people have with vanilla Destiny. Corrected those issues. So maybe that will be what happens this time. They'll come back and say, okay, we've heard what these people said are the problems, and here is our solution. Or maybe they'll just do another reskin of the same 3-4 alien races, and this time they'll sparkle or something.
Destiny 2.
I like sparkle.
The cake and ting. You're like, really, guys?
The cake and ting.
The Cake and Ting.
Really, guys? I mean, could you come up
Are
with
you
something?
trying? Are you really trying?
Guys, really?
They're just over there
the
busy.
throne.
Or was it? It's like, you guys going to do something? Busy right now. Just counting money.
But you're not doing anything. Yeah, I'm busy.
counting.
I got stuff.
Google game streaming, guys.
Uh-oh.
According to reports, Google may be preparing to launch its own game streaming service similar to PlayStation Now. The service could be offered via Google's Chromecast or Google-made console. While with Phil Harrison, formerly of Xbox, joining Google recently, this could point to its validity. Phil Harrison was also formerly involved with Gaikai before Sony acquired it. Time will tell if the rumors are true and there's room for Google in the competitive space. I think this is happening 100%.
Dude, Google, there's room because Google it takes up all the space.
Yeah.
It's like Google and Amazon rule the world.
I would say I don't think they're going to be coming necessarily to fight with Xbox and PlayStation. I think they're going to go fight Amazon Fire Stick and all that with their stream in Apple TV also with their like streaming games that they.
But man, who's gonna? You probably will have peripherals that you can buy like a controller.
Sure.
Who wants to? I don't know if
Not only that, but if you go online and search gaming streaming services, they have the ability to go.
and jack up what you're gonna go buy.
Yeah,
because they rule the world.
pretty much.
Amazon Fire is all the way down on numbered 9th.
Some guy at Yahoo's listening right now. He's like, dude, we can pull up stuff too.
No, they can't.
And I'm like, no, you can't.
Bing's like, we've got you beat.
Bing. I love Bing.
Hey, it's I mean, like, I think eventually Xbox and PlayStation will get this too. Like, some would argue this is where Xbox is moving towards, especially
with Games Pass?
Yeah, with their Game Pass, like where maybe eventually it's not necessarily that you have a box, but you just have a streaming service. Yeah, and
I tell you though, I like a good box.
What's in the box?
There's nothing like a pretty.
Remember the box?
Just
a pretty box.
Remember, like
just a
almost 10 years
box.
ago.
It's like that nice finish on top.
Hey,
you just
come back to me.
Just rub your hand across it.
Yeah.
Remember when we had a box?
Sometimes I just kiss a box.
Sean and I used to have a box that
No, we didn't.
was the lunch box. And it was the most important lunch box ever. Remember, we would all put ideas into this lunchbox, and then we'd act like we were going to listen to the random.
Sometimes I kiss a box.
And then it would fall apart.
Kind of like our box talk just did, Chris.
Yeah. Battlefront 2 DLC. According to DICE's Dennis Brandville, there will be Clone Wars DLC coming as well as player customization. Quote, we're obviously hearing the request about a more open, free-flowing, large model like Conquest. Not sure if porting a mode over is the right way to go, but we're definitely working on satisfying that request. To the question of whether these two items were coming, he simply offered a yes. Doesn't surprise me.
It occurred to me, why have they never put Anakin Skywalker in these games?
Good point.
It's like, you guys hate Hayden Christensen so much, you're not going to put his likeness in a game.
They do have him in there.
Do they really?
Think. They have him for the pilot part.
Do they have the Clone Wars version of Anakin? Or
this is Clone Wars is off the chain.
Yeah. Okay. You're talking about that version.
like the prequels, yeah.
This is bringing Ahsoka Tano, who is a huge
I love
fan
Ahsoka
favorite.
Tano.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing they've missed the opportunity to capitalize her likeness in a movie.
It's nice to see that
Right.
potentially player customization is coming, because like that's been the most obvious thing that I've been thinking of. Like, if you want to do your loot box thing and get money and not break the system, make it about customization. That's all they got to do. That's literally all they got to do.
Ahsoka has 1.5 lightsabers.
Sure.
She has a dagger.
She does.
It's insane.
Yeah. I hear you.
I think she's in Rebels too.
I believe
That's a
so.
good crease. Anyway, Chris wants to move on.
Anyways, finally this week.
Oh boy.
Finally this week.
Oh.
Year.
Face alert.
A year of the dog.
Do it. Read it like that.
Don't do it.
No,
Don't
he's
do it.
got to. He just, no.
Don't do it.
Overwatch's Lunar New Year event, Year of the Dog, has been announced. The event will bring 50 seasonal items and 6 new legendary skins to look forward to. This year, we're celebrating the Lunar Year with over 50 seasonal items, including legendary skins like Red Phoenix, Mercy, Black Tortoise, White Tiger, and Black Lily Widowmaker. Experience our updates to capture the flag mode, including a competitive capture the flag and sudden death mode on a brand new map. I can't pronounce that word. Ayata.
Ayathaya. I don't know.
But that's awesome. Yeah, they just keep every time, this is why Blizzard makes money. They just take things and they keep adding new things to it, and they do it really well. And everyone goes, I need to keep giving them money because I really want these new things.
So that wasn't Naughty Dog,
No, it wasn't my dog.
but it was the year of the dog.
See, China.
The Chinese is. Let's get some Chinese. That sounds delicious.
I had Mikado last night, which I know is not. It's not. Okay, come on.
Now think about your local. Like,
Everyone in China and Japan hates you right now.
Think about your local, like, really expensive Japanese steakhouse, hibachi grill place. That's where John went.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
That is the expensive hibachi place. It's nice, though.
It's almost like expensive as Benihana is.
Benny freaking Hana. You just dropped Benny freaking Hana.
I had Benihana last year.
How good is? Oh, you're gonna say it's not good?
I haven't had
It's
some.
not.
is-
It's not what it used to be.
And you wonder.
I'm sure. I'd imagine.
Everybody else
Like
is doing it.
Steve Aoki is like throwing DJ beats in there now. See, because his dad was
Yeah.
Yeah, I got what you're doing there. We ready to wrap this up,
never.
John? Emails!
Electronic.
I gotta say that started off a little weak, guys, but you came back strong.
We did.
You saved it.
Yeah. I almost F-bombed it
Hey,
right
look,
there.
There's the peak.
There's
I can literally
how-
see it.
That's your ears.
Yeah.
Wake up at your cubicles, people.
So my sister-in-law says her car won't crank Do cars crank anymore?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's still
Every
a thing?
time. Yes.
Pistons. That's,
Okay, got it.
yeah.
I'm dumb.
Yep. That's probably why your car broke.
I'm wondering if you are.
Actually, your car doesn't crank, I think. Isn't that like with the electronic?
Why did your eyes get you so big?
I figured you would.
He doesn't have an electric car.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He has a hybrid. Yeah, it's in your car.
He doesn't have a hybrid.
It's a hybrid.
The Honda. Is a,
My wife
hybrid.
Your wife
has a hybrid.
Yes, she wait.
What?
What did you say?
She has a hybrid?
If you want to be...
Yes. What are you doing?
If you want to be like Mike Slade was earlier and write into us and have your thoughts and opinions read on the air, you can write them into weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com. Just like Eli Kane did.
Hello, Eli.
Hold up, he's going to say
He sent this apparently from the Rift Between Dimensions.
Oh.
I've been there.
Yep. He says, hey, guys.
Hey, Eli from the Dimension World.
Guys, that was a plural. You have to say something.
He already did.
I said hello.
Say it again.
Oh,
Hello, Eli.
Say it like you mean
Thank you for writing. Please
Say
don't
it.
leave us.
I've been waiting a long time to send you guys some mail. I just wanted you to know I'm a huge fan. Insert Donald Trump. Oh, insert your Donald Trump joke. Huge. He's huge. He's a huge fan. Got the biggest hands.
Huge.
No one's been a fan like him. I was especially excited to send you guys something because I may be one of your youngest viewers. I'm 12 years old. Whoa, that is young. That's why we don't curse. Yeah, really.
Whatever.
Delete.
That's not why we don't curse.
That's true. It's because we're good boys.
That's not it either. It's because you won't let us.
That's true too.
I'm putting a poll out if people want to hear us curse,
I don't care what they say.
and they're going to overwhelmingly.
I want to hear some cursing.
I want to hear you boys be funny with the curses.
I am currently playing through Final Fantasy 15 Battlefront 2, but often put those games aside to play some Overwatch, Destiny 2, and Fortnite with my friends and play with them on my YouTube channel. I have a couple questions. Are any of you huge Marvel fans like I am? Do any of you play Magic the Gathering? Based on my list of games, I also played For Honor and Injustice 2, PlayStation Master Race. Do you have any recommendations for who are your Overwatch mains? And I'm from Nashville, so tighten up.
Ah, I see what he did there.
Yeah, that's all
Titans. See, because John, the Tennessee Titans are a football team
With
You
Marcus
actually
Mariota.
needed to explain that.
in Nashville.
For the record, Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia can kiss my behind.
Delete the email.
Let's
remove
go.
him from all accounts.
He says, let's go Wolverines. Who the heck freaking roots for Michigan football outside of Michigan?
Is it past his bedtime?
Apparently, that guy.
Yeah. I could understand if he said he was a volunteer.
Well, I mean, Michigan. It's
Memphis Tiger.
It's okay. Let him love khakis and coaches that wear weird glasses and hats.
So he's looking for recommendations on what specifically?
Marvel. Are we Marvel fans? I'm a ish Marvel fan.
And then he said, fun fact, MLK loves a good Ram truck. Fun fact, too, you're in a tie dad. Good callback.
See, because that was Super Bowl.
Yeah.
John.
And then he said, your wife,
Your wife.
Eli.
Thanks.
Let's
Thanks,
see.
Eli.
Number one, I think we're all huge Marvel fans. We're all waiting for.
You can't make me say yeah.
You know you are.
I'm not a huge.
You're not huge.
No,
I know John is huge.
I love Iron Man. Screw everybody else.
Why do you hate Black Panther?
I don't. First of all, that's called a setup question.
Why don't you say?
Quit getting close to me. Why is the lights on me right now? I'm actually excited about Black Panther.
Yeah, me too.
It looks kind of dope.
That's
for
the
real.
one I'm probably the most excited for in a while.
Yeah, so we'll
Looks
see how
fresh.
that turns out. But I always watch all the Marvel movies.
Same.
But you know,
Yeah.
Loki the trickster god.
They're always good. They're solid, right?
Speaking of Loki the trickster god, real quick, this is called a derailment. His card, when played properly in Cards Against Humanity, is awesome.
I could see that.
Put the cards down, John.
Let's see. Do any of us play Magic the Gathering? I think
You used
I
to,
have.
yeah.
I've played the last one I played was in 2014 or 15. I haven't played the actual card game in years.
There's a digital version of that too. Right?
Yeah, that's the one. I'll get those like every now and then when they come out.
Magic the Gathering. Will I ever get laid?
Why does
that
it
mean,
matter
John?
if you?
That's the theme music for Magic the Gathering.
No,
That's actually inaccurate.
Yeah, I've played the game. It's actually got a great score.
Although
but
it
maybe
shouldn't
if you-
apply to Eli at all.
I'm
Because he's
sorry.
12.
I'm sorry that's not as hardcore for you as Samus or Metroid Prime or The Last Guardian. I'm sorry, that's the nerdy game, apparently. Jeez.
He's going off.
Yeah,
Ladies and
even,
gentlemen.
Chris, this just in. Even nerds acknowledge that Magic the Gathering
You
is
can't
for
prove
nerds.
that. Come with your facts and your majority opinions.
Is Daddy getting mad?
Based on the games you listed, what do I think you would like that you haven't? I mean, if you like For Honor, I'd actually say you might want to check out Ubisoft's other big combat game from last year, which was Assassin's Creed. And I mean,
You had to do it.
yeah,
I would definitely agree.
yeah. I mean, if you like that, you definitely, I think, you would like that. Or let's see. I know there's that Dragon Ball Z game out that's right now that everyone's raving about. For
People
fighting
are
games.
loving that game.
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
I've heard good things.
And don't forget, Spider-Man is coming out at some point.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
gonna be good.
Who are my Overwatch mains? I was always a fan of Lucio, and I like
That's terrible.
what's his face?
Reinhardt?
Captain. I like Reinhardt. Dang it, Soldier 77.
76,
77.
77.
I don't know. It's one of them two.
Soldier.
Boy,
I like. I used to be him because or Reaper until I realized
You
how cool
would.
I did. I know. Well, Reaper was dude. He's cool, but
Yeah.
until I got to play Lucio, that's when I was like, that's what's up.
Lucio's fun.
Yeah.
I like to heal. I'm
John,
always
put
gonna heal.
the cards down.
I will beat you.
Next up, Bucky writes in, aka the Winter Soldier.
What up, Bucky?
Oh no.
He says, "Hey guys,
Hey, Bucky.
since I know Cap, I, the Winter Soldier."
He called him Cap.
I, the Winter Soldier, have spoilers. Spoilers! For the Avengers Infinity War movie. Doctor Strange removes the Hydra brainwashing. I've also been enjoying these beautiful women of Wakanda. I got me a baby mama.
Yeah, buddy.
Anyway, Vision does.
I got me a baby
One
mama.
of them baby
Oh,
mamas.
anyway, Vision also does, which you all saw that coming. Yeah.
doesn't die.
with which what's her name?
He
He's
doesn't die.
dying.
No,
He's so
he doesn't.
Man, have you read the comic?
Dude, they're ripping
Yes.
out his thing right here,
You're right. I've read the comic.
and they're
Doesn't
gonna
die.
put him on his fingers, and that's when Vision dies.
So does Doctor
not gonna
Strange? Okay. Spider-Man has another movie coming, so he lives. So is Doctor Strange. But as soon as things went crazy with Thanos, he left. Did
Thanos
that
is
David
big,
Blaine? Did that David Blaine vanishing thing on us? I soloed Thanos in his Black Order flaws. Oh yeah,
See,
and
John, hold up. Soloing is.
Oh yeah, and Drax does, but who cares? Since being Thanos, I've been playing Monster Hunter World because since I'm not frozen, I have all the time in the world. Thanks for the weekly games talk, guys. Winter Soldier.
Dude, that
That's
may
funny.
be one of the greatest emails ever. Like, ever.
He still hasn't.
He called himself back from us calling
does
him
he
the
have
Winter
to put
Soldier.
when he's showering? Does he have to put his metal arm into like a freaking bag,
plastic
it
bag
doesn't,
like a cast?
so it doesn't rust?
I don't think that metal rusts.
Yeah, probably not. It's probably tap natch.
Yeah, it's probably like high tech and whatnot.
I thought it was vibranium. Anyway, don't matter. Don't matter.
Daniel writes in.
Fucking nerd.
Daniel writes in. I just want to comment that Daniel's profile pic on his email is Vegeta.
And no one likes you.
And he says, "Hello again, Richards. It's me, Daniel from NY.
Hello, Daniel from NY.
Hello, Daniel
fellow Richard.
from NY.
I have some news.
You're all right, John. What's up?
I'm going to trade in my PS4, my 3DS, AC Origins, and all my games at one of my houses, and with the proceeds, buy a Switch and an Xbox One S. I could buy an Xbox One X, but I don't have a 4K TV, so it's an extra $250. So I will get the most out of my money. The problem is I need 2 docks for both my houses. But an extra dock is like an outrageous price of $90. I also bought Wolfenstein the 2-pack.
9!
So should I play the Old Blood or the New Order first? Anyways,
Oh, that's a good question for you guys.
let me know if there are any good games for Switch I should get. Game on, Richards. I think you should play New Order first, and then it's Old Blood, right?
Yeah, Old Blood kind of provides. You kind of need context for the New Order before you play Old Blood. Kind of like how you should watch the Star Wars original trilogy before the prequels.
It's just like that.
It's just like that.
It's just like that. Good job, John.
That's crazy. He's trading in his PS4.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But it's not a pro. And he's getting an Xbox and a Switch. It's a two for oneer.
I know.
He's gonna get a lot of content on his Switch. He's gonna get a lot of Xbox exclusive world premiere exclusives.
World premiere 15.5 teraflops. Xbox One
15.5.
Yeah, it's multiplied 15 times 5 teraflops.
Oh, because you made it seem like it was only 15.5 now.
I would just remind
3
him.
billion 45 teraflops.
Look, as long as he's
Enhanced.
first of all, it's none of our business to begin with. But as long as he's making an informed decision, he is missing out on a lot of PlayStation exclusives this year.
Sure.
This just in. He's already traded it
He's
in
like,
and doesn't care what you say.
I would have a hard time giving away.
He's like, I hate Days Gone, and
No,
I
no,
hate
no.
God of War, and I
Well, there you go. I would have a hard time giving away the opportunity to play God of War,
Shadow of the Colossus,
Last of Us, and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I just
He also says, P.S. haven't played it, but I will buy it because of your episode. But the Palicos in Monster Hunter World look so freaking cute and hilarious.
Yes, they are. The Palicos get better with time and upgrades. They are quite the hilarity. If you pay, a lot of people may have tunnel vision when they're playing Monster Hunter or not pay attention to their Palicos. But if you do, and you see a little Joker on a raft just paddling his junk off, it's one of the greatest things ever.
Funny.
I'm picturing that.
He's just paddling his junk off, John.
And finally, in emails, Dano Scordino writes in and says, "Hello, guys.
Hey,
Hello,
Hey.
guys."
Hey,
I like to give them death stares when they don't say anything. I hope you all are well. I really wanted to take a time out to write to you personally from over the pond in sunny London. Laugh out loud.
I love London. Hey, the North London Derby just happened. I wonder who he was going for.
Whoa, event drop.
No, it was my team won. I'll just put it that way. Let's see if he emails me back with who he likes or if he likes somebody else.
There you go. weeklygamechat@gmail.com.
He knows. He already sent an email.
You don't know that.
God save the Queen.
I am super thankful to have had the chance to come across your podcast.
Thank you. That's
I live a super hectic life with 2 young kids, both aged 2 and 4, and my own videography and photography business,
Nice.
a part-time job, along with being a full-time husband,
Chris.
Yeah. Haha, I know. But the privilege of listening to your podcast every week on the way to work is one of my highlights. I've never listened to people and been so connected as I have to you. Like, you're all family to me.
That's
which
what's up.
sounds strange when I put it on paper.
But listen to this. Hold up. That was my Richard hitting the table. Thank you.
But maybe it's because I have uncles in the States which have the same characteristics and fun humor as you guys. I wish you all the best, and thank you again for the shout out. If you need anything from this side of the pond, you know to let me know.
That's what's up.
All the best, Dano Scordino. That's awesome.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and he also, I mentioned him in our Twitter too. He said some pretty nice things that related to that too. So
John doesn't want anything to do with you, but me and Sean, we think of you just like family too.
Yeah. We love you guys.
Well, when Sean's Richard hit the table, I don't know that Sean was thinking of him like family. And if he was,
No, the words.
that's sick.
The words were almost
It's our West Virginia family.
They were like podcast
Virginia.
love foreplay. It
our
really
deliverance
did
family.
something to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, in that case,
Whose was bigger, huh?
well, clearly.
Sean,
Yes.
we got any mentions on Twitter?
We got
That's,
we got
Twitter
a
at
few.
Weekly
It
Game
was
Show.
really funny after you tweeted out, that John returned from the dead.
Yes.
We had a reply from at PSN Vintage _ 1985, and he simply writes, "John's alive." 999.
That's good.
That was really cool. We got a follow. I want to say hello to at Milo _ Hobbs _ Thank you so much for that. We're going to give you a follow back now. Let's see. We also have another follow from at Chisel _ 8, who I like his, you give a summary in Twitter, and his says dogs and gravy, Life's most important lubricants.
Accurate.
Dogs and gravy.
And and like you said, at Danos Gordino, he gave us some love on Twitter as well. He just basically said basically. All right, he said, really enjoy your podcast. Feels like a family gaming moment like my childhood. So thank you so much for that. I think I had one more. Well, no, but I did get I'll just say this, a game on guys from @blink_brack. And that was a mere 8 hours ago. So thanks so much. And again, if you guys want to follow us, we'll follow you back. And you can tweet at us. You can DM us all on Twitter at what, Chris?
Weekly Games Chat. Also on Facebook, same thing, Weekly Games Chat. Apparently, oh no, we're all gonna die. Remember that episode of black and white episode of Black Mirror with the robotic dog?
Yeah.
So I'm watching this thing right now. They've made robotic dogs that can open doors.
No.
We're all gonna die.
It's literally walking around right now.
Like I'm watching and like a little thing comes out of it and it grabs the handle and is opening. Oh God, we're all gonna die. Look
There's
at this.
another one. There's
oh
multiple.
my God, they travel in packs. They travel in packs. Y'all check this out. It's on YouTube. The video is called "Hey Buddy, Can You Give Me a Hand?" Oh, I could put that.
Link
on.
it to our Facebook or our YouTube. Do something like positive.
Copy.
Jesus, I gotta teach him everything.
Twitter. I thought this was your thing. I'm the Facebook guy. There.
That's good.
That is good.
Tweet.
We can't say that.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know why it's
on our-
self-deprecating.
If it's on our Twitter page.
I won't, though.
This has been episode 140 of Weekly Games Show.
It has.
Almost at 150. Can you believe that?
Are we gonna do anything big like a giveaway?
No, probably not. Shut that down. What do y'all get? Thanks. And move on. We'll see you.
We made it to 150. Woo!
All right. We're just going to cut it early this week.
We reward you with 5 Nintendo Network coins.
That's like 10 cents, guys.
No, the math is off.
Well, yeah, probably. I haven't gone to the
think it's
huge
5
store.
cents.
Nerd.
If you like the show and you want new episodes, you can subscribe to us with your favorite podcast service. If you use a service that has a rating or ranking system, we suggest you give us a rating or ranking, review, whatever it is. Helps people find the show.
You gotta, do that for us.
Please. We beg you.
Your dog is sad. Is
Yeah.
she all right? Does she have to pee or poo?
No, it's because you're right next to her and you're not paying attention.
I've been petting her for...
Doesn't matter. You need to put whatever this is down and you need to go over there and just be with her
She's
for the
right
next
here.
hour.
Dude,
Doesn't matter. She knows you're not fully committed to her. She knows you're going to leave.
This is too. She feels it. She knows when you said the finally this week and you're going through the rundown of how to get in touch with us.
She knows what's going on.
She knows. It's
She knows. Oh.
no.
She knows her boyfriend is at my house.
Until next time, though,
Yeah.
I will simply
Are you going to say what we're going to talk about next week?
We are probably talking about a little game called Celeste.
Yeah, we are.
Sounds so simple,
One of these days, I'm going to
but
play a
it's
game
so freaking hard.
and talk about it.
And we may. Now I know I've made a promise before, and I did not deliver.
We may have someone.
We may have someone.
We won't say who.
The most non-committal person in the world may join us.
You said that, and the moment he heard it, he started pacing back and forth, and he's staring at a picture of you.
Right now in his cube or in his car, he's looking around. He's probably
He's
texting
breathing
me.
hard. He's not amused.
But it is Jean Week at work, so he's probably going to walk around with his jeans and his little polo he's got on.
Probably not till Wednesday, though. I think he was working from home Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, well, the show don't come out till Wednesday, dummy.
Good point.
Valentine's Day.
Okay, fail on my
Where's
part.
the love?
Where is the love? That's what Penny's asking right now. Until next time.
We're looking at our Apple Watches. Sorry.
It just said my stand goal has been achieved.
Why do you stand
job.
so much? Why do you even set a goal?
I've,
What kind of weirdo are you?
the point is, I've been sitting down for an hour and a half.
That is point.
So now I want you to stand?
With that said,
I hate your face, John.
with that said, I will simply say, game on, Sean.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, John.
Game on, Chris and Sean.
Game on, John.
Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good week.
The line.